Hey, what's up? I'm Ka, and in today's system, we got 2 voices, drums, room for modulation, and filters, all in 62 HP. So I'd say this is almost the perfect system for this size.
Let's make a track with Euro-Rack. Let's make a track with Euro-Rack. Like and subscribe.
Quick rundown before we start patching. We got PAMs, which will be clocking and also triggering our drums. We have Memetic doing CV and note information. Then we have Phase Lunare Vega for our drums. And I have a whole nother video going a little bit more in depth up here if you're interested. Let me interrupt here and update on the last video. Since I posted it about Phase Lunare Vega, they contacted me and gave me some information about the questions that I had. So the encoder issue, that was kind of a big portion of the last video. They said they fixed it in the latest firmware update. Now I've tried to update it. I don't have that much experience with the teensy boards and how they work, but I can't get it to update. It says the file is too large in the uploader. Anyways, so if anybody can shed some light on that, that'd be awesome. The 5th trigger, so I assume that they're talking about this guy right here. Says that it's for random instead of accents, and that there was a error in the manual. And the freaky is subtle randomness in envelope decay. So maybe the amount of randomness is just different in every module. And the last thing is that they improved the UI so the LEDs show parameters with a fade effect between the steps. So yeah, these are all pretty cool updates and makes it a better definitely makes it a better experience, but I still can't seem to get it to connect to the Teensy uploader. So if I figure it out, I'll put an update out, but for now that's what it is. Anyways, let's get back to it. Then we have Osiris for bassline and some top melody. That's going to be controlled by Steppy and volt per octave from Memetic. The A1116 is a full voice from Dofer, also being triggered by Steppy and CV from Memetic. Our mixer, Disting, which we'll probably use for a DJ filter kind of on the whole track. And then Violrunia. I don't know. This one, which is a filter and distortion. So, let's get patching. First we need clock to Memetic and to Steppy. We'll just set up our drums first, so we have a beat to play to. Let's get it out into the mixer, and we'll go out from the mixer into disting, and with that we should have a beat that's heavily clipping. So we have our DJ mixer, which is low pass and high pass. So next let's get our bass line. And we'll just run the mix out through the, that's not it, through the filter, then bring that in here. So number 2 will be the higher notes, and the sub we can have going straight out. Oh, Jesus Christ, man. Ah! Grab number 1 and just zero it out for the whole thing. So next up, let's get a couple more triggers. This is controlling the mix output of Osiris, which is coming into the filter right here. But it does not affect the baseline. Only disting affects the baseline because it's connected to the all output. And let's get the A1116. I'm just gonna light all of them up so we can hear what we're doing. Then we'll come to do and zero it out. Alright, I was just pressing down, so it's adjusting in semitones. And then to kind of finish out this basic setup with not really any modulation, but just as a groove box kind of idea machine, just add in a pedal. Oh. At this point, we've used up all the modules and haven't done too much in terms of modulation, but I think we have a solid starting point to record in and get a track going. So this is what we recorded in. And we have all the parts broken up right here. We kept our basic 4 on the floor. Our whole drum section is the same. I just have it broken up into different parts. So the intro. Our intro is just kick and hat, and I have a ghost kick in here, which is the same kick, just a small portion of it for sidechain. In the drop, we have a bit more, bringing in the closed hi-hats and some offbeat perks and a crash. And the snare. I kept the main bass sound in the intro pretty sparse. Just a bit of EQ on that one, and then as a group to process the whole thing, I have some delay on this group, which is from here to here, these three. Then we have Saturn, which will come in just for little accents, reverb in the intro, and it's sidechained. So the reverb comes out right here, it turns off. We have OTT on our bass, which this is the higher half of the frequencies. The blue sound is Saturn. That's the accents I was talking about. So we have our lower register. This with the effects. Oh, and this is just a reverse, I think. Next, we have our riser section, which has a couple 8-bar risers and then quick shots. Same one over here. And like these two layered to give a bit more of a wash sound, less of a race car vroom vroom. Another long sweep. So these two sound very similar, but they are just different samples. And then we have this guy, which just kind of goes a long way throughout the drop. So I think one of the most interesting things on this track that I did in Ableton is the saturation right here, that I just used a preset and then kind of adjusted it a bit. Right here, this is where the drop starts. I only have it coming in at halfway point in the drop and pre-drop in the first bar. So it's not being used for much, but it gives that kind of bit crushy sound. You can hear it a lot right here when it's soloed, but in the mix it kind of gets pushed back behind a lot of things. The last thing for the intro was I needed a pad of sorts just for atmosphere. So I used the matriarch or just to play a couple notes. Sidechained it and added on a decapitator. These are the higher notes that I wanted to process differently. So I guess if there's one thing to take out of this video, is that groups and automation are your friend. And even if it's a little quick second of a plugin, it can really kind of spice up the track. That's about it. If you like this video, leave a comment, subscribe. I'll play us out with the finished track, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.